Hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Real football fans of New Jersey here. Thank you if you are joining us live. This is a special episode, actually, because tonight is the official countdown.
The official.
This is episode 190. So, every week we're going to keep reminding you that we're getting that much closer, but this is like the final 10 countdown. So
We are so close. And I
got close yet so far.
I know, because it's like 10 weeks.
5 weeks. Yeah. But 190, can't believe it. Amazing. We have such a great show for you tonight. Oh my God. We're going to be talking about the crazy playoff games that we saw last week. We're gonna
still sweating, honestly. We just talking about still sweating.
We're going to sample and preview potentially what we could see this weekend. We got a lot of good housewives stories for you. We're getting psyched. We're getting pumped because the premiere of New Jersey is coming. So lots of good things to talk about tonight. But thank you again for joining us. We did poll you this week on our social media outlets, and we have 3 interesting questions. 2 NFL, 1 is housewives, and it's kind of a theme almost, like of people who are coming and going, right? And I didn't realize that until now, but there is a theme to these 3 questions. So the first one, now that Mr. Aaron Rodgers has been booted from the playoffs, the first question is, will Aaron Rodgers play for the Green Bay Packers next season? Obviously, that was like a big question going into this past season. So this surprised me a little bit. 90% of you said no, he will not be a Green Bay Packer next season. Maybe he'll retire. Maybe he'll be with another team. Kate, what did you say on this?
I agreed with the 90%. I said no as well. We spoke about this a couple of weeks back because one of our questions was regarding retirement. Like, will he retire? Right. And my response to that is no. I actually don't think he's going to retire, but I think he's going to give us this, like he did with us this past season. He's going to toy with us in the off season. I actually think, though, the toying is going to take it a step further, though. And I do actually think he's going to move on in another direction. We heard from him after the game this past weekend that he believes that the Packers are going in a direction of rebuilding and kind of like looking, for which I don't get.
Somebody use the word rebuilding when you make the playoffs every year.
I know.
When you were the number 1 seed in the NFC, when you were arguably the best team in the regular season.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers, come to the New York Giants and we'll teach you about rebuilding, sweetheart.
Yeah, I know. So
about.
I know. And like, so that's his comment. And he said, like, basically he doesn't know if he sees himself on a team that's going to do that. So, but like, I look around the NFL, there's only like a handful that aren't rebuilding. So, but for me, and like, it's funny that like, you getting so upset at that comment, because I thought it was eye rolling too. And like, now you have Aaron Rodgers coming out and saying like, people were rooting against the Packers and me because of like the vaccine thing that I did. And I was like, no, like Aaron Rodgers, like everyone
like you.
No one likes you regardless of that. Like Katie and I, like we've been talking shit about you for 4 years. Like COVID wasn't a thing 4 years ago.
190 episodes.
Like literally like COVID hasn't been around for 100. Like you've been like doing weird shit your entire career. And like, we just don't think you're, a classy player. We don't think you're a good leader. We don't, and the Packers kind of, we question why your fan base rallies behind you so much. So, So again, just silly stuff there. But what do you think on this one?
Well, I think this is hilarious that
did you say yes?
No, I am one of the lone soldiers that went yes on this one. So you did bring up the fact that we talked about, would Aaron Rodgers, if he won the Super Bowl, would he retire after the season? And I thought that he would, but here we are. And he didn't even make it to the NFC Conference Championship game. So this is a new story now. I don't think that he's going to end his career on this note. So I do think that he will play. And honestly, like, maybe it goes to what you were talking about. Like, there aren't a lot of teams in the NFL that aren't, like, there's only a couple that are really good that aren't going to be in a rebuilding mode. I feel like one of the random teams I've been sort of like seeing pop up that he could go to is maybe like the Denver Broncos.
I saw that.
I mean, really? I don't know. Like, does he really think that if he goes to the Denver Broncos, he has a better shot at winning a Super Bowl with them than he does in Green Bay?
Yeah.
I'm not understanding this. So
does he have like a weird like Peyton Manning like fantasy where he can just like do the same thing as Peyton did? Like, I don't think so.
I don't know, but like to me, as much as he likes to like stir the pot and create this unnecessary drama and pretend like he's so miserable and so unhappy in Green Bay,
That's the problem.
like put your ego and your pride aside. And if you do that, you will understand that staying in Green Bay is your best shot to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Like I don't.
I'm going to say that he will stay there because he has to just own that and recognize that.
Yeah, I got to tell you though, like what we saw this past like weekend though with these teams, and a lot of them definitely did showcase this. We saw incredible like athleticism this weekend, and I think a lot of them did showcase this like up and down throughout the season. If Green Bay is facing any of these guys next year in the regular season and they play half as well as they did this past weekend, Green Bay does have a lot to look out for and be a little bit scared in the regular season next year. So that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. All right. Well, question number 2. This is another guy who has been booted from the playoffs. I know.
Thank God.
Not many people expected this. We usually don't say this sentence, Tom Brady being booted from the playoffs.
It's a beautiful thing.
But the question is, will Tom Brady retire? Because I know a lot of reporters are kind of asking that, wondering that. He's made comments that he needs to discuss it with his family. It has to be a family decision.
Right.
But we polled you guys, will he retire? 67% of you said no. Kate, what did you say?
No, I don't think he's done. No.
I said no as well. I just feel like that would be a really weird way for him to go out. Like, I feel almost like it's Tom Brady.
Right.
So if you're
he's got to win.
You have to know when you're going into your final
right.
season. You almost have to kind of like tell everybody about it. So
right.
This is like your final ride. Like, there's no way it's just quietly ending like this when there were no talks about that throughout the season. So
right.
And it's really, really weird to have somebody of that stature, the greatest NFL player of all time, just end like that in such a strange fashion. I don't know.
Yeah. And if he goes out quietly, I can definitely see him like returning again, which is I roll all the time when people retire and come back. It's very annoying. And he would be a very annoying person doing it. But I can almost like definitely see that. Like, not that like he's going to like shout from the rooftops that he's retiring, but guys, like it's Tom Brady. Like you said, this can't just be like a quiet exit.
Right.
Like, people like need
it's
to
like
know.
You knew like Drew Brees, you knew about Big Ben.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We haven't talked about that at all. And you can't just randomly
just do it.
Vanish.
Yeah.
So, and then the last question, which is interesting because we'll kind of talk about this a little bit later with the housewives, but would you be happy if Miss Jill Zarin made a full-time return to RHONY? 63% of you said no. Hi.
The Jewish Kirby, like Katie and I like to call her. You have to listen to her on Housewives, then listen to Kirby go, hi.
It's the same.
I have too long of arms to do the Kirby. So
hi.
Like, hi. I said no. And because again, she's very annoying in my opinion. She did see my Instagram poll though, and she liked it. She literally liked because I tagged her in it, but she didn't vote. Like, come on. Like, I was just telling someone the other day because I did the Antonio Brown, like shit got crazy again. And I was like TBT to the time where we made a poll. We were like, this was like 2 years ago. People
didn't just like it. Like he responded.
And it was like, is he coming back to the NFL? And he wrote no. Like he responded no to us. So like
insider info.
Like we literally, and now he's back and now he's gone. Like people, like we have the insider. So like I was hoping she voted on it because then obviously she would see that all of my votes were no. Clearly you had some yeses. And I know we had some yeses on Twitter too, but so she would have been so mad to see that everyone was saying no.
Yeah, I said no. I'm not a big fan of Jill. And I just think her return would be unnecessary. I think we've talked about that they do need to have some returning women come back. I don't put her on that list of one of them.
No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
All right. Well, thank you guys for that interaction and your votes on our polls. We are live. Kate, if you want to tell them how they can interact while we are going with the show.
Absolutely. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and the Twitter. I just saw the tweets. We got a ton of people watching over on the Twitter. We got some on Facebook and YouTube as well. Thank you guys. On Twitter, if you do want to engage with us, you have to reply to the actual tweet. I can't see what you guys are saying to us. If you do it on the stream, I apologize. If that's too hard for you to tweet back at us, you can go to YouTube and engage with us that way. But listen, send us questions, comments throughout the show. We'd be happy to answer anything, happy to respond to comments. We just went over poll, questions, tell us your responses to those. Love to engage with you guys throughout the show. But yeah, you can always do that live with us if you are watching right now. So let's move into our big stories of the week for football. So our first one, I guess it was interesting because there was definitely some rumors swirling around, and I didn't fully believe this, but it has come true that Sean Payton is stepping down as Saints head coach. So yesterday, Ian Rappaport reported, well, he didn't tweet it technically, but he did report that Sean Payton was stepping down as head coach of the New Orleans Saints. Payton is 58 years old. He is leaving New Orleans with an overall regular season record of 152-89.
That's a really impressive record.
It really is. I look at that and just grin, wow, must be very nice. It's a beautiful, beautiful record. A postseason record of 9-8 and 1 Super Bowl win within his 15 seasons. And then also too, just to add on to this great, great list of things, he was coach of the year in 2006. So honestly, just before we get into it, just major props to that. Everything we just read off there is very, very impressive. Obviously, very well-known name and just kind of, personality within the football area. One of the older, so I think Pete Carroll right now is the oldest coach. So I think he might have been.
Doesn't sound that old to me.
It doesn't. So he was right up there though. But yeah, honestly, so great. So again, previous rumors that Payton would go into TV. So I think that was one of the biggest rumors I've heard over the past couple of weeks, and that's to do with Amazon. I think they're striking a deal with the NFL. So there's things there's rumors coming around that. So going into TV, he confirmed that he's had opportunities, spoken to Drew Brees about it, and that he would be interested in going in that route. And I gotta say, I do like Drew Brees behind the camera. I think he's done a great job this past year. So hey, maybe they'll team up. That might be a cool thing to watch. Cool. Definitely. They obviously had a great relationship, a great career, both of them together. So it would be definitely cool to see them back together again. Rappaport also reported that New Orleans defensive coordinator Dennis Allen is considering, oh my God, wow, I can't speak tonight. He's being considered the leading candidate to replace Sean Payton, but that Detroit's defensive coordinator Alan Glenn is also expected to interview. Despite rumors that he might, go coach elsewhere, Payton said that his plan is not to be coaching in 2022.
So let me get controversial here and speculate.
Come to the Giants. I'm kidding. Well, I loved all those tweets about, because obviously Payton does have a past with the Giants.
Yeah. So I felt like he was really miserable this season.
I can agree
that, he, we just talked about his amazing resume and his, the majority of his time with Mr. Drew Brees, and always winning and always being a playoff team year after year after year. This was a really hard season for him. Replacing Drew Brees with Jameis Winston going down with a major injury, and obviously not making it to the postseason. It was unfamiliar territory for Sean Payton. And we heard the rumblings throughout the season that he was unhappy. So I'm not surprised that he is parting ways with New Orleans. However, the word retirement is being thrown around here, and I do believe him when he says he's not going to coach next year.
Right.
But I also feel like that was just an easy out so that things weren't ugly between him and the Saints, and he didn't seem like he was being disrespectful or not appreciative of his time there. I think he's going to retire for like a season or two. I will not be surprised to see Sean Payton come back for a team he wants to coach for. Literally in the next season or two, honestly.
Well, those are the context clues. I'm pulling out like a phrase from college, high school, middle school, the context clues, people. You got to look at, everything around you. So like you said, he's stepping down. The word retirement has not been thrown out there yet. What we have seen is that
I've seen certain articles.
Right. So we've seen broadcasting, we've seen, not looking to coach in 2022. Like what you had said, though, if in my opinion, to agree with you, if he was actually retiring from coaching, that would have been it. He goes to the Saints and it's like, all right, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm going to retire. They send him off in all his glory. They're still going to send him. They're down in New Orleans. Of course, they're going to send him off in all of his glory. Clearly, we just read to you as to why they should anyway. But I think that if he was actually done for good, it would have been a retirement. I 100% agree with you. I don't think it's going to be this season. I say a year or two. Let's see. He will come back as a coach. Maybe he'll go to college. Who knows? Maybe he'll go to another team in the NFL. He is not done coaching, in my opinion. So
I think he just didn't want bad blood. He didn't want to end on bad terms with an organization that I'm sure he's super appreciative of.
Absolutely.
And has so much love for. But it was clear that he was unhappy this season. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you,
can't deny that.
Give it like one off season. And in 2023, we can see Sean Payton be the head coach of another franchise.
Ooh, well, let's wait till this next
hot
season.
Take,
but
hot take.
Let's do like a next, like as we go into the 2022 season, let's like predict where we'll see him next year. Like who could we see? Because we have to see because there's still head coaches spots that need to be filled. Obviously the Giants still have to. So let's see where everyone lands for 2022.
Yeah.
And then let's in September predict if we'll see him somewhere in 2023. That'll be fun.
It'll be interesting. But speaking of interesting, more so exciting, let's talk about the divisional round.
We're going to talk about this for the rest of our lives.
It might have been the best divisional round in the history of football. And obviously I can't speak from before I was born or when I was a little kid, but in reading other articles, it feels as though everybody
even the players coming out and saying things, and it's they're the ones doing the dirty work every day. They're the guys playing every single day. So
just to easily put it into perspective of the receipts of why it could be the best, all 4 divisional round games this past weekend were won with either no time remaining in regulation or no time remaining in overtime. The most such finishes in an entire postseason in NFL history was that. And the games were decided by a combined total of 15 points for an average margin of 3.8 points per game, the lowest average margin of victory in NFL playoff history in a round with at least 4 games.
I love it.
So, I mean, when we had 6 games in wild card weekend and we were just reaching for any of them to be good, we had 1.5 good games, I'd say.
Yeah.
We begged after wild card weekend. Please deliver. Please give us good games for the love of God. And this is more than we could have ever asked for or ever expected. So hats off.
Football gods, listen, they did.
I think all these teams, the losing teams as well, because they played a hell of a game, all of them. And they gave the people a great show. So it was the best weekend ever to be a football fan.
I want to go back. I just want to rewind.
It was honestly, you can rewatch some of these games because they were that dramatic and exciting and edge of your seat entertainment.
I definitely do fear that this weekend the Super Bowl won't live up to it, and I'm just you know what I mean? I wish one of the games from I wish one of these past games was the Super Bowl.
It was a shame. I think that Kansas City and Buffalo just so happened to match up in the divisional round. Because would have loved to see that be the AFC Championship game. My God.
Or just throw out the rules of the Super Bowl and get those 2 in the Super Bowl together.
Right. 2 AFC teams. We don't care. Just do it.
F it.
But let's break down these games. Starting with Cincinnati and Tennessee. This was a 4 seed versus a 1 seed. A late interception by Ryan Tannehill, who definitely did not have his best game. And then, of course, a nice deep pass from Mr. Joe Burrow to his boy, Jamar Chase.
Oh, God.
Set them up for an Evan McPherson 52-yard game-winning field goal. Not a chip shot by any means.
No.
Helped Cincinnati upset number 1 seed Tennessee 19-16. Love that little tidbit that Joe Burrow gave in his press conference, saying that Evan McPherson was trotting out to the field to go kick, and he was like, guess we're going to the AFC Championship.
Could you imagine if he missed it, though? That little shit.
Like, exactly what my husband said, but I was like, no, at that point, you got cojones, and you're
that is like some,
you know, you're about to rock this shit, and like you feel it, and when you feel it, like,
oh God,
you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
What a way to kick off! What a way to kick off the weekend.
One of these great young kickers in the league. I think he's going to be a hot pick in fantasy football next year.
After that comment, maybe, right? And I don't know. He might have to.
He's got confidence. Okay. This was, I think, the biggest upset by far. No, I didn't see anybody taking San Fran to win this game. No. But sure enough, the San Francisco 49ers, even watching the game, you didn't think that at any point they were going to win. But they rallied with a blocked punt late in the game. Also, earlier in the game, they had a blocked kick. So special teams winning it for the 49ers. My God. So they got that blocked punt late in the game. And then Robbie Gould kicked a game-winning 45-yard field goal to upset also the number 1 seeded Green Bay Packers 13-10. Green Bay. The fact that Green Bay only had a 7-0 lead in the first half, Caitlin and I were texting each other being like,
it was like a miracle
right there for the 49ers, because it felt like 28-0. Like,
I know.
It was, Green Bay had control the entire way. But honestly, I said special teams, but hats off to the San Francisco 49ers defense as well, because Aaron Rodgers and that offense to 10 points is another incredible victory. So it was a well-earned win, honestly.
Absolutely.
Fight till the very end, and all facets. I know we talk a lot about offense, defense. It's all facets of the game. Your special teams can win you a playoff game. All right, the Rams and Tampa Bay. This one looked like it was going to get. It was ugly. Okay,
it was.
The Rams led 27-3. But if you're going to have that kind of lead on anybody, and it means jack shit. You're not safe with a lead like that over.
No.
So
I never had like doubt or like, not doubt. I never like had confidence that the game was going to end that way. Like,
the man has done it in a Super Bowl, so this is no big deal. So
yeah.
Tom Brady and company tied the game with 42 seconds remaining, but you left 42 seconds on the clock. So Mr. Matthew Stafford hit his man Cooper Kupp for a deep pass that set up Matt Gay to kick a 30-yard game-winning field goal to win 30.
What a pass to Cooper Kupp, and what a catch by Cooper Kupp. That was just like, that was one of the biggest moments of the weekend for me, just watching that. Like, Cooper
Kupp just out here breaking everybody's heart this season. So if you are playing the Rams, or if you are playing him in fantasy football, he is just making people miserable.
Yeah, literally. And
I love it. I'm saying that as a compliment to him. Talk to him. This is a pretty insane, special season that we have seen from a wide receiver in the NFL. One of the best that I've seen. So only fitting that he would help them set up that final game-winning field goal. They saved the best for last, baby.
God, I'm still like
a good one, but again, we could have never in a million years. It was straight out of a movie. My jaw was dropping the entire time. I was screaming. I don't have a horse in the race. I was screaming play after play.
Yeah.
Kansas City and Buffalo. So Kansas City and Buffalo's offenses combined for 25 points in the final 2 minutes of regulation.
2 minutes.
The Giants can't do that in an entire football game.
We literally didn't score a touchdown in like 4 games. So
no. 5 points going back and forth. This was the Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen show that I just never wanted to see. And that, like you said, let's throw 2 AFC teams into the Super Bowl. I want to see that.
I want to see it again. I don't want to wait until next season. Like, I'm being selfish in this matter.
Okay,
like,
so here's the thing. You know how they always do the season opener with the reigning Super Bowl champion?
Yeah, they should do this.
You got to hope that Kansas City wins then. And then if they do, they're playing Buffalo week 1. Like, 100%. Give the people what they want.
We want it. We want it now.
So those 25 points in the last 2 minutes of regulation included Patrick Mahomes forcing overtime with just 13 seconds left in regulation.
I wasn't ready.
So talk about like giving Matthew Stafford 42 seconds. You give Patrick Mahomes 13 seconds.
The Bills won that game with 13.
Yeah, 13 seconds. And 13.
They did it.
And the thing is, like, you're watching that game and you see 13 seconds on the clock and you still feel okay about it. At least I did. I'm like, it's not over. Like,
I knew it wasn't over, but I was very confident that the Bills won that game.
I don't know.
Like, I was.
I really felt confident, but I felt very cool, calm, and collected that it could still go anyway.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
So here's the worst part though. Like, obviously overtime rules, which now everybody is obviously coming out and being very vocal. We've been vocal about it before. Yeah. But college football is different than the NFL. In the NFL, in college, both teams will get a chance to possess the ball on offense. Yep. In the NFL, a team can end it, win the toss and end it on the first possession if they score a touchdown. If they do a field goal, if they kick a field goal, the other team gets to come on and try to match that or beat that. So the worst part is you're seeing all this go down, and I'm watching it with my husband, and I'm basically saying, whoever wins this coin toss is winning this game, because whether it's Josh Allen, like, he's going to get in there and he's going to score a touchdown, or if it's Patrick Mahomes, he's getting in there and he's scoring a touchdown. Well, Kansas City wins the coin toss and, of course, ends the game on the first possession with a touchdown pass to Mr. Travis Kelce to beat Buffalo 42-36. You don't like to see it end that way. You kind of knew it was going to happen.
Right.
And you hate to see that, because Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills didn't deserve that. I mean, I guess their defense deserved it. Both defenses played like shit.
Well, that's the biggest argument, like, for the overtime rule. Like, we'll have your defense, stop it. I mean, look at
with 13 seconds left, just like,
right.
Come on.
I mean, and as much as the Giants sucked this year, they were actually, in the games that they won, were able to stop a lot of things on defense. You look at the game against the Saints in overtime. We won because our defense was stopping people. So I get that argument for sure, but in a game that was it was an offensive game. There was no defense in that game whatsoever. Like, you just wanted to see Josh Allen step on the field that one more time. But, and then the argument too with that, if it was college rules, someone joked like the end score would have been like 125 to like 100. Yeah. So I get it. I get all sides of it. I just think, like, with games that competitive, you still want to see the other team attempt to do something. So
I think if any game was ever going to convince the NFL to look a little bit further into it and decide whether or not they want to keep that rule, it was this game. So if it doesn't change in the near future just from this game alone, then it might never change.
Yeah. I don't know. And honestly, too, like, I look at, speaking of rules, I mean, like, it's not, you guys obviously I saw on our social channels, I love to make memes for us. And I made the funny meme of Tyreek Hill, like, throwing up the peace sign, like, when he literally just marched into the end zone. Like, the taunting rule, like, you either need to go all in on it or you need to get rid of it, because there have been some insane calls for taunting this year where someone, like, literally just goes like, yes, and gets a fucking taunting call. And then you have literally Tyreek Hill, like, pulling basically like an Usain Bolt, like, literally just staring at the camera and, like, throwing up the, like, to me, like, and I'm not saying, like, he didn't deserve that touchdown. Like, he clearly did. He's a maniac. I've never seen a freak like that before. Like, he's crazy good. But, like, another rule scenario. Like if you're going to pull that shit out of your ass, NFL, like you need to go all in on it because that was 100% taunting, in my opinion. So you just can't, and that could have made the game, like that could have, the Bills could have won the game based on that. So
I wouldn't like that. So if we are like going one way or the other on it, I say leave it alone.
Then just, but that's the thing, just stop. Like just take the rule away.
I was okay with him giving the peace sign because if they were to flag him on that and that affected the game and Buffalo won because of that, like that would suck.
100%. But, and like, I didn't mind it either. Like, I thought it was hilarious, but like, and we got a good meme out of it. But like, I just like, it's just, again, like if you're going to make a rule, like you got to stick to it and you got to go all in on it. Because if we looked at I know it's something I actually want to do. If you look at every taunting call this past season, like some of them were just insane. But that's just we're talking about rules here. So I figured I'd go on a mini rant there, but
amazing weekend.
Holy shit. Amazing weekend.
I hope the games are good this weekend. I think we're going to keep our expectations.
We only get 2.
That we may never see what we saw last weekend ever again. But hoping for good games this weekend. And speaking of, it's that time of the night.
It is that time, and it's an interesting time because for me, well, I think for you too. I think you picked the Packers to win the Super Bowl, right? So I picked the Bills. So
no, I think I picked them to go to the Super Bowl, but I think
pick them to win.
I believe I picked the Chiefs.
Okay, so you're still in it. So that was one of the heartbreaking things for me about this past weekend too. As soon as the Bills lost, I was like, ah, shit. I love my bold prediction of them back in August, though, going to the Super Bowl because clearly we saw that they could 100% have gone to this weekend, gone to the Super Bowl. So as much as it sucks, they're not there. And ironically enough, I am wearing I love this shirt. My aunt gave it to me. It's my Giants Bills Super Bowl t-shirt from 1991.
Wide right.
So
right.
The Giants won. It was Super Bowl 25, I believe. So the Giants did beat the Bills in that. And I think this shirt and this year, I think it confirms that I am in fact a Super Bowl baby. So I'm just going off of that, or just a good Giants season baby, because so I did the math, but the Giants were good that year. So clearly my parents were happy. But let's go ahead and get into our conference championship picks. Again, I cannot believe that we are here at this time. So we've got 2 matchups, Katie. It's so weird.
I don't think you and I are going to agree on these. I don't know.
Oh, I know. I'm a little nervous. I think we're going to be
a little controversial. I don't know.
I'm going to say that we
fourth again.
I'm going to say we agree on one.
I told you before the show that there was one I was pretty set on. There was one I was kind of going back and forth on. The one I feel good about, as much as I really, really have enjoyed Joe Burrow's season and the Cincinnati Bengals season, I am going with the Kansas City Chiefs. I do believe they were my pick before the season started to win the Super Bowl. I felt like when Mahomes got that huge, massive long-term contract, I felt as though he was going to win 3, not at least, because I don't think he'll necessarily win more than this, but I thought he would win 3 Super Bowls with Kansas City during this time. And so I think, this could easily be number 2. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs, and I went back and forth. And I would have never in a million years before the season thought that we would see this team in the Super Bowl, but I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers.
Wow! Oh my God, we are completely different! I love it!
I knew we were going to be different. I told you.
Oh my God.
I told you. I'm actually shocked, though, that neither one of us went Kansas City and the Rams, because that's like the easy pick.
It is. But you know what?
We got weird with it.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. So Katie and I were talking before the show, and I could have never told you these 4 teams going into this weekend. I wouldn't have predicted it back in August. I couldn't have predicted this to you halfway through the season. So, but that makes me excited. I'm so excited going into this weekend with these 4 teams. I would wish the Bills rather than Kansas City. That would have made it even better in my opinion. But I love this group of teams. I've loved what we've seen so far. Like, look at the Niners. Like, look how far they've come. Like, I love to see that. I can't believe
this is coming out of my mouth and that, like, we're even. I don't know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So officially, my picks for this weekend are the Cincinnati Bengals over the Kansas City Chiefs, and I am going with the Los Angeles Rams over the San Francisco 49ers.
I can't wait to break this down later in our game and like
yeah,
the reasoning and the scores, and oh my god, it's I like that we went different, and I
do too.
I was like, she loves Cincinnati. She loves Gilbert, like she's going that route, and I knew that my Niners pick was like it's not the favorite pick there. So
it's not, but I
different.
Yeah, and I think there's like a handful of things that they definitely need, and we'll get into it. Like, definitely need to do. But out of the 4 teams, there's so many. There's obviously different scenarios. I think any of them can happen. And that's again also why I'm so excited for this weekend, because again, I couldn't sit. That's who I think is going to the Super Bowl. Like, I can't sit down and tell you who I think is actually really going. So, and that makes me, again, like very, very excited, like just as a football fan, like going into this weekend and going to the Super Bowl. So
yeah, definitely. All right.
All right.
So before we break down the games, we are going to get into our big stories of the week in the world of housewives. So we have some casting rumors in the world of RHONY and also in the world of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, which obviously season 2 is still airing on TV right now. It's been a really good season, a lot of crazy drama.
A lot of shit.
But let's talk about RHONY first. So recent reports from inside sources have hinted about the casting for season 14 of RHONY, which we all keep telling you and know that it's not going to happen for a while. But the rumor is from a source that Bravo has asked 3 cast members to return and also their thoughts on returning, and that one has pretty much signed on. Another has been desperate to return for years, and it's looking like this could be her year.
That's Jill.
Second source, source backed up the claims and confirmed that 3 housewives are coming back, and that 2 will be returning fresh off their Peacock show, and there will be 2 to 3 newbies. So season 2 of the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip is set to air this spring on Peacock, and it is going to feature Jill Zarin and Dorinda Medley.
It's definitely 2 of them. Yeah.
I believe if this source is correct, that it would be the 2 of them. Obviously, we'd be really happy. I'd be really happy to see Dorinda back. We already spoke that we're not huge fans of having Jill back. But yeah, like we said, we need some familiar faces. I would love for Tinsley to come back too, but I
think she's probably the 3rd one now.
I also don't want to see the Tinsley Dorinda drama again, because it was completely unnecessary, and it turned my favorite housewife, Dorinda, and it made her like look really ugly, and like I like how she was in that relationship. So
I think it'll be different.
It has to be like Dorinda took her time off, like get zen. She was very angry. You know, she needed like that Teresa, when Teresa went to jail and then she got into yoga and she was all like namaste,
all zen,
like 1 season, and then
and now she's
back. Now she's
crazy bee again.
So as for the future of Salt Lake City, this is really interesting because
a lot of shit.
We're only 2 seasons into this franchise, and Caitlin and I, like I said, we really enjoy it, and it's kind of difficult to see that a brand new franchise that is succeeding, that we like, which is really hard to do, is looking like it could just go to shit.
It's like crumbling too. Yeah.
Just what's happening with these women heading into season 3. So you have Mary, who already quit, which we're fine with. That's fine.
Yeah.
But Meredith is hinting on social media that she should quit. Somebody asked her, like, why don't you quit if you're like whatever? And she was like, you know what? Good question. I should quit since the women lie about me and my family. So that was her response. It wouldn't surprise me to see Meredith leave. I think they are filming right now. I know that. And what I read was that all the people are back and they're filming, but I can't see her doing it long term, because I mean, we're seeing it right now. Mary's like the only person she's friends with. Mary's not going to be there.
No.
It's like you're supposed to hang around these women that you don't like with. It's just not going to work. So that's Mary's gone. Meredith is on the fence. Jenny, this past week, unless you're living under the Housewives rock, you did see that Jenny was fired yesterday after anti-Black Lives Matter posts were found on her Facebook page, which I don't understand how they were only found now and not before they put her on the show.
It's a bigger issue. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, once those posts were found, like later on last week, Andy commented on it. All the women commented. They were very upset. Jen Shaw called her out directly on social media. And then Jen hinted that she was fired after calling out Jenny directly, which Andy confirmed, no, she was not fired. But take that aside, Jen is also potentially going to prison.
Going to be gone. Yeah.
And by the way, I also saw today on social media that because they are filming right now, Jen's court date is supposed to be in March. So we are going to have that. We are going to get that all go down. So she'll be there for season 3. She might not be there for season 4, depending on how that trial goes.
Right.
But you're going to you're down Mary. You could be down Meredith. Jenny's gone, and the future of Jen Shaw is who knows.
Yeah. I mean,
so to see this franchise
it's like
be so amazing, which is really hard to do, like a brand new franchise come right in and everybody like really enjoy it and like it is hard to do. And the fact that it might fizzle out just based on these scenarios is a shame.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot going on right now, obviously. And again, like everything with like Jenny, I mean, listen, the stuff that she posted is not okay in any way, shape, or form, like at all. And I think where my head is at is that, you know, it's not even 2 years ago. You know, Bravo needs to do just like a better job, like going and finding people.
We didn't
like,
ask not for MySpace from, you know,
no.
And
how did what are those people called? They're like they're called like internet like sleuths, I think, or something like that. How did someone behind a laptop just find these things on her Facebook, and you as a corporation, Bravo, Andy Cohen is your leader, could not find this on her? So, and listen, like, and there is, you know, in my opinion, everyone makes mistakes, and everyone, you know, there's probably something you said 1,000 years ago that you're like, oh God, like I'm embarrassed. But like, this is from 2020. So like, there's no excuse on her end for anything that she posted in regards to this. Like, it was just not okay. So I don't understand how Bravo couldn't find this or understand this. But then you have people that are still present in Housewives that are not okay either. And they've said things live on camera that are not okay. Like Mary Crosby's one of them, and she got out by quitting. She literally quit.
Right.
So it's like, I think like we always like talk about like comparing football to Housewives. It never happens. Let's compare it to the New York Giants. Dave Gettleman was able to retire and go off and walk into the sunset. Joe Judge was fired in front of everyone. It was a scapegoat. Like, you're getting all the blame. Like, and I'm not comparing like the two women because it's clearly different, but like, if you're going to do one thing to one person, like, you got to go after all the bad seeds, because it's just, and there's other people out there too in Bravo, and it's not just Housewives. It's other, you know, they've canceled like other people. Like, we've seen Below Deck people have been eliminated from. You got to look at everyone like holistically on this. So I need like, Bravo needs to like understand that like, you can find these things.
Do a much better.
You just have to do a better job, because no one wants to see that. And it's not, and I think something too, and clearly I'm pretty passionate about this. I'm kind of sick and tired of the like, let me post to Instagram this little note of how upset I am. As much as we don't like Jen Shaw, I actually appreciated her calling Jenny out directly in her post. Everyone else kind of was like, my co-star. Like, what I want to see from people is your raw emotion. If you're pissed about something, and this is a situation that if my friend did something like this, I would be royally mad. Like, I want to see like videos of people like coming out and being like, this is not okay. Because like a screenshot of like your notes app or like, ooh, I made this look fancy in my create mode on Instagram. Like, that's just complete bullshit, in my opinion. And if you're Jenny and you're truly sorry for everything that you've done, like, sit down and like address the world via video and like actually show your true emotions of how
she put up a post.
I don't like it.
And it seemed so half-assed and so like BS. And you know what the thing is? Like, it is a really recent thing. It is recent posts. They're not that long ago. So that's another reason why I think her apology is like, I kind of feel like, no, that's how you feel. It's not like you said that when you were young and dumb, or you said it 10 years ago. It's pretty recent. And that's a pretty recent hot topic. And you clearly felt a very strong way about it, that you had several posts about it. So
clearly
your apology really doesn't mean shit to me.
And in all honesty, as wrong as everything was, if you truly feel that way, then like, you're right. Just own it.
It's messed up, but own it. That's like, who you are.
Like,
own who you are.
Yeah. Like, it just,
don't say sorry just because Bravo fired you.
Right. And if you truly are sorry and like maybe you want to make it better or you want to try better or whatever it was she said in her apology, like, okay, so like we actually have to see, you have a platform now because you were on Housewives. Like, let's actually see you try to be better and again, like, so it's not even just the apologies, it's the people coming out and saying this is wrong. Like, I'm kind of sick and tired of these like blanket Instagram posts. Like, I want to see like true emotion from people. So that's just, again, this isn't the get it off my chest section, but it's kind of, it's been happening a lot recently. So it's definitely something that, just needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
But a lot of shakeups
and fun.
I know, right? Like, come on, we just need that.
Give us your best. It's time for your best diva impersonations.
Oh, well, we've got some diva. We've got some divas for sure. So listen, the Real Housewives of New Jersey starts next week. Holy moly, I'm so excited. And there's the season 12 taglines have been revealed. So we're going to go ahead and let you know all of them. So we have 6 of them from all 6 returning ladies. So let's make that a point there. All ladies are coming back.
When we have a solid cast in place for a couple seasons now.
I love it. So we're going to go through all of them and then we're going to give you our favorites, our least favorite, everything like that. So, all right, so let's start with Melissa. Some people are great and some people are born Jersey. That's funny. Dolores, I don't start the drama, but I will stop the show. Margaret, I say, when you have nothing to hide, there's nothing to lose. Jackie, you don't have to pay me a compliment, but you do have to pay me respect. Jennifer, I like this one. My nose may be new, but I can still smell a rat. And then Teresa, I have a new king, but I'm still the queen of New Jersey. I gotta say, so here's the thing with all of these. So I actually I like that Melissa and Teresa both have plays to New Jersey in it. Like, I do like that. Like, while they're not the, and I gotta tell you guys, like, I actually don't do this very justice. The women actually do it pretty, like, actually, I always think that their delivery sucks. Their delivery on these are actually pretty good. So I would say, like, for the first time in a while, I'm actually pretty, like, pleased with these taglines.
Well, I got to tell you that my favorite one is the one that made me audibly laugh when I read it and heard it for the first time.
The nose one.
Jennifer's is so funny, absurd and so funny.
It's so
that
funny.
I'm here for it. Like, it made me laugh.
And it's a play on New Jersey too, being a rat. That's something in relation to the mafia. When you are a rat, that's when you're,
whether it made sense or not, I just thought it was and I would say that my least favorite is probably Jackie's, because I just feel like
hers are not good.
It's just super duper generic. Like,
Right.
I think it could go whenever there's a tagline. Basically, my least favorite taglines across all franchises is, I will dislike it if it's so general that it could be for like
anyone.
People,
that could, yeah,
for anyone. And Jackie's is super general. So Jennifer's is not very general. Like, you got a new nose, like,
right.
Okay. And Teresa's, I like Teresa's as well, because obviously we know that her relationship with Louis is going to be like the big thing on this season. So,
yeah, I mean, again, like, but excuse me, like what you had just said, like anyone can have one. Like, that's why I do like the points to New Jersey. Like, I think they're good.
Yeah.
I do think the nose one is hilarious. I did see though, Melissa came out and said that she doesn't like her tagline, and she had, I know we kind of like, went behind the scenes the one episode and like said how these were actually done. So they actually do get chosen for them. So she said that she like came out already and she was like, mine sucks. And she was like, I didn't choose it. So, but
okay. All right.
Well, that's it. I didn't think they had like,
bad.
Yeah, like I know they had people come up with them, obviously, but it's not, I didn't know it was like, oh, Melissa, like, you can't, change your mind. Like, that's like so stupid.
I thought they were able to give their opinions, but
yeah. So she came out, she like bitched about it very much. So I don't know, but I like it. Some people are born great. Some are born Jersey. So I like that one. I think they're good. I honestly, truly think they're good. And like I said,
definitely seen worse.
I still
always think that you and I can do better.
Oh, 100%.
Read, but we have seen worse. They're not too bad.
100%. But I just, we'll see. But I also,
Go ahead.
No, I'm just looking at it again. I feel like you could like dissect these like for the rest of your life, but.
Well, let's not do that. Let's play this game because I am very excited to play it. I've been loving this during the postseason of the NFL because I like to hear how you look at the games and how you break them down. And obviously, when we give score predictions, we only do that for the postseason. So that makes things exciting. But tonight's game is what will be in the AFC and NFC. So like last week, we were going to take a look at the AFC and NFC championship games for this weekend, and we're going to fill in some blanks for some of the game predictions. So both games are going to be on Sunday. Let's kick it off with the earlier game first. We have the number 2 seed Kansas City Chiefs versus the number 4 seed Cincinnati Bengals. Caitlin, tell the people what your opinion is. The Chiefs will win if blank.
So we really got to keep up that offensive momentum that they did last weekend. But what was most impressive was how they were able to convert on first downs with their passing plays. So Patrick was, it was first down after first down. I think it was like their third and their fourth down conversions were so low because they were never in that territory. They were always just getting first down. So they had 19 passing first downs. So they were just, again, and even in the last 13 seconds, they went up and down the field like right away. So I think for them, they have to be able to do that again. And I actually don't want to see them go to third and fourth down because I think that's where they might get caught. And if they do it too much, it's going to be harder for them to actually push back forward to get those, those first downs like they need. So they have to convert right away with those first downs with the passing game. So how's that going for them?
All right. So I'm going to say that the Chiefs will win if I'm not so concerned about their offense. I know that they'll put up points. I think I averaged it out today that their last 6 games, they're averaging like 35 points a game, which is just absurd.
It is, yeah.
So I'm not concerned about the offense. So what is going to help them? And you're going against another really good offense in the Cincinnati Bengals. So the Chiefs are going to win if their defense could keep Cincinnati in check by containing Jamar Chase and the passing game and also getting after Joe Burrow. So Joe Burrow has been sacked 11 times in his 2 playoff games so far. And Chase was the biggest factor when these two teams met in week 17 and Cincinnati upset Kansas City 34-31. That was the game where Jamar Chase had 11 catches for 266 yards. I'm not saying Jamar Chase isn't going to have 100+ yards. You can't let him have anywhere close to 266. So you have to keep him in check.
Right.
And you have to get after Joe Burrow and pressure him, which teams have been successful in doing so.
Absolutely.
All right. The Bengals will win if blank.
So they got to force the turnovers for Kansas City, whether, as we saw last week, it could potentially, with the Bengals, we saw some, special teams work, any type of turnover there. And then also too, like I'd said with the Chiefs, like getting it on, get the first downs. If the Bengals can force that 3rd and 4th down for them, it'll really, so I'm looking at their defense, and I'm looking at their special teams here.
Yeah, so just like the Bengals or just like the Chiefs, I'm not concerned with the Bengals offense. So the Bengals will win if their defense keeps Kansas City's passing game in check. Another huge factor to their week, besides Jamar Chase having the game of his life, another huge factor in their Week 17 win over Kansas City is the fact that they held Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce to just 11 catches and 64 yards together.
Yep.
So if you can do that again, that to me is like that helped you the first time. That's the key to the game in this one as well.
Yeah.
All right. The quarterback with the most passing yards will be blank.
Like I said, if the Chiefs do what they need to do to win with Patrick Mahomes launching it down the field, I do think it will be Patrick Mahomes in this game.
So I am taking the Chiefs to win. And I think that, if Cincinnati's going to be down, it's going to force Joe Burrow to really, I'm not going to say abandon the run game, but he's definitely going to have to air it out and try to match Patrick Mahomes. And I'm going to go Joe Burrow on this one.
All right.
The running back with the most rushing yards will be blank.
So I actually don't think they're going to abandon the run game. I think they're going to have to advance on it a little bit more than they did last week. I think a lot of teams we're going to need to see some more running from a lot of people this weekend. So I'm going to go with Joe Mixon on this one.
All right. I'm going to go with not a running back. I've been doing this a lot in the postseason, and honestly, it's proven to be.
Well, we've been seeing a lot of things, so.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go Patrick Mahomes on this one.
It's a good one. Yeah, him and, like you said before, like it was him and Josh Allen's show last weekend. Right. Both of them taking matters into their own hands.
Both of them were the leading rushers for their respective teams. Yep. So, you see that final score and you think, well, they threw it and they threw it and they threw it. But
a lot of running too.
They were both running for their as well.
Yeah.
The wide receiver with the most receiving yards will be blank.
Well, they held him back this last weekend. He might break out a little bit more. So I am going to go with Tyreek Hill on this one.
Okay. Again, I am picking Kansas City to win, but Jamar Chase, man, he's having a hell of a postseason. It just feels like the safe pick. I can see him, like I said, not 266, but I can definitely see him breaking 100. So I'm going to go with him. And then the MVP of the game will be blank.
So I am picking the Bengals to win, as we discussed before. So if they do win, I think it will be easily handed over to Joe Burrow.
Joey B.
MVP
of the game for me, it goes hand in hand with yours. I will be going with Patrick Mahomes.
Absolutely.
And then the final score of the game will be blank.
Given the average that you had said before, like with the Chiefs, it's a little lower actually, but I think it will definitely be a competitive game. And it's going to come down
to be lower if Cincinnati's going to win.
I know. But it's still a close game in my opinion. So I'm going to go 27-24 Bengals.
Okay. I am going to go with 34-27 Kansas City. All right, let's break down this divisional rival NFC championship game between the number 4 seed Los Angeles Rams and the 6 seed San Francisco 49ers. The Rams will win if blank.
No turnovers. We saw with the Niners what they were able to do last week. And they were, again, like they were only down 7-0 at half, but it seemed like an insane amount that they were down by the Green Bay Packers, but they were able to cause these huge kind of game-breaking, things like with turnovers with special teams. Their defense is doing a phenomenal job. So the Rams really cannot, I think they had a wild amount. I know that obviously they won and they were up by a lot. I think they had like 3 turnovers last week. So you can't do that against a Niners team that is coming on hot on advancing on these types of plays. So no turnovers for the Rams. None. 0. Zilch.
Yeah. I'm going to say that the Rams will win if they build a lead early, including a lead at halftime. I don't know it off the top of my head. I know Sean McVay has like an absurd record of like when the team is leading at halftime. But they've played San Francisco in 9 quarters this season. Obviously, they play in the same division. So they've played each other twice before, 8 regulation quarters and 1 overtime. And the Rams have only outscored the Niners in 2 out of 9. So, that's not great. So get a lead early, lead at halftime, and I like your chances a little bit more. Mm-hmm. The 49ers will win if blank.
All right. So they just need, honestly, consistency on both sides of the ball. So again, bringing up what I just did, special teams and defense was huge for them last week. But what you and I were texting with each other was our keys to the game last week was to run the ball and to not make Jimmy Garoppolo force the pass and everything like that. That's all we really saw in the first half. Listen, Niners, maybe you should listen to the podcast. Run the ball. Use the running game early.
I agree. They didn't run it enough against Green Bay.
They did not. And you got 2 guys, you got Mitchell, you got Samuel, and Debo's a dual threat for you. Like use him in any way you can. And I think they could have used him more in the run game, used him this weekend in the run game. They just have to be consistent on both sides of the ball. So,
yeah. I'm going to say the 49ers will win if defense plus a turnover-free game from Jimmy.
Yeah.
San Fran won both meetings this season, and in those 2 games, the defense had 7 sacks and 21 pressures. Plus, they got 2 interceptions both times in both games, 2 in each game off of Matthew Stafford. So they have an incredible defense. And yes, I totally agree with your answer as well, though. I did feel like they didn't run it enough last week. That's going to be a huge key to the game as well. But I mean, we saw it against Green Bay. Their defense can win them a football game. So.
Yeah.
All right. The quarterback with the most passing yards will be blank.
Given that I think the Niners should run it, and I'm sure they've been watching many a tape this past week, and I think they'll all collectively decide that as well. I am going to go with Matthew Stafford on this one.
I went with Matthew Stafford as well. The running back with the most rushing yards will be blank.
Loved what I saw last week. And I think, again, I think just the Rams offense is going to do a little bit better. So I'm going to go with Cam Akers on this one.
Okay. I've been picking this kid in every game he's played in this postseason. I love the way he plays the ball. I'm going with Elijah Mitchell.
I do love what I see from him as well.
Yeah.
Give him the ball, though. Let's do it.
Yes. The wide receiver with the most receiving yards will be blank.
Cooper Kupp, people. It's just, we've seen it.
It's hard to pick against that. It really is. I went with Cooper Kupp as well.
It's almost like seems like bad juju to pick against him.
But at this point, it's like Jamar Chase and him are both doing it week after week in their games. They're the leading receivers. It's just kind of, it is what it is. It's not like the sexy, like, ooh, I'm going to get weird with it.
Right.
Pick. It's the safe pick.
It's the
MVP of the game will be blank.
I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp on this one. If the Rams do win it and he does excel like he has been, there's people already talking about they want him to win MVP for the entire NFL season. So that's a little aggressive in my opinion. But he has done wonders. So, so I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp here.
So I am going to go, even though I went with Cooper Kupp as most receiving yards, I did not mention this guy, but I don't know if he's going to have like this gaudy statistical game. I could just see him making 1 or 2 big game-changing plays for the 49ers that just help them get the win. And I'm going to go with George Kittle.
Okay, I like that pick.
And the final score of the game will be blank.
So this is a little bit more of a differentiator or different range here. But I'm going to go with 30-21 Rams.
Okay. I went lower. I am going to go 24-20 San Fran.
Okay.
I love that we went opposite. It makes it fun. It makes it exciting. So hopefully we get two good games. Yeah. We got spoiled this past weekend, but hoping for two really good close games.
Yeah. Listen, it's only on Sunday, so we're not, we got very spoiled with like a whole weekend. So we do have to wait until Sunday. And I'm hoping that they're good because obviously next weekend we have off. So until the Super Bowl. So I want a good weekend to get us through, a week off from football. We haven't had a week off from football since August. So it's going to be a little weird. So yes, I'm hoping for but it was good. I mean, I think just us walking through the games right there, it definitely heightened the excitement for the weekend. And like I said, every scenario, it can go either way. So who knows who we're going to see in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks, but definitely excited about it.
Find out.
I know. Alrighty, so it is that time of the episode where we get it off our chest. Positive, negative, football, housewives, wine, life, anything you got.
Mine is super short. I actually didn't know before the show. I didn't know what I was going to do. And then usually we just talk about something during the show and it hits me. And we were talking about Jersey before, and we were talking about how you mentioned Melissa not liking her tagline and complaining about her tagline. I was laughing yesterday. I sent Caitlin the post of it. Her and Joe recently posted on Instagram the house that they bought that they're redoing, which I remember seeing what the house looked like when they got it. And it was like a smaller ranch. And I remember when they bought it, and I went back to fact check this yesterday. When they bought it, Melissa was just like, we want something smaller. I'm so over these huge McMansions.
Sorry, Melissa.
Then they post they basically got rid of the footprint of the house that they bought. I don't know if they knocked it down completely or just built up. Caitlin put it perfectly when I sent her the video. She was like, it looks like it's just 5 houses.
Literally just
the lengthwise, it looks like house connected to house, connected to house. So for her to come out and say I'm so over these McMansions and act as if she downsized makes it seem really obnoxious on her end. Actually,
I don't like that.
I don't like that either. Oh, you downsized. This is still the biggest. You could fit 20 families in this house, and so it kind of comes off a little spoiled and conceited, and it left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth when I saw it yesterday.
I'm also just convinced that it's because it looks like house on house on house. I'm convinced it's gonna be really ugly. So I just don't know.
I didn't like it.
I must say, the move I think in New Jersey right now is because it's because you do real estate. It's a tough world out there for buying a house. I think the way to go is to buy land and to build. But if you're going to build,
you have the money for it. But, but when you see a house and you can easily tell that somebody did an extension to their house and did an add-on because it kind of looks awkward from the front. Yeah. You're like, oh, that wasn't originally there, and it kind of doesn't look that great. That's what this house looks like. Yeah. It looks like, because of how long it is, I'm weird. Oh, it looks awkward. It's one thing if you go up and it's big and whatever, but the fact that you went lengthwise, it does look awkward. So
it's a little awkward. No, I get that for sure.
Either way, if she thinks this isn't a McMansion, then excuse my language, F her.
Yeah, come live in my 1-bedroom condo, Melissa. I'll show you what it's like.
It came off really snobby. So
yeah, I agree. But we'll see. I mean, listen, it's around, so we could see it in person if we want to.
Yeah,
but
we should do a drive-by.
Oh, we totally should. So obviously, on Friday, the Giants made their decision on GM Joe Shane. So very, very excited. I think that just how things have gone over the past couple of years. I'm not ready to jump. I mean, I was very excited on Twitter. People obviously saw, but I think where my excitement comes from is that we're doing the GM and the head coach at the same time, and we're getting two new people. I like that the Mara family and the Tisch family are finally kind of like letting loose on the reins a little bit. They're not hiring within the organization. They're not hiring with like connections that they know. And Joe Shane has connections to Bill Parcells from the Dolphins, but it's not like a, Mara connect. So it's like I'm comfortable with that, and like that makes me pretty excited. So it's funny enough. I know he spoke about my shirt earlier, but obviously Joe Shane comes from the Bills. So that's an interesting. I got the Giants Bills shirt going on. This is not intentional. I just wanted to wear the shirt today. But that's pretty ironic. So obviously, though, you see what the Bills have been able to do over the past couple of years, the talent that they've brought in. So that definitely excites me. He had his first, his first press, I guess, day with the Giants today. So he spoke to the organization. Guys like Daniel Jones, Blake Martinez were there in person, greeting him, listening to him talk. I thought he spoke really well. I think we've been kind of over the past couple of years with guys, whether it was Joe Judge, Dave Gettleman, kind of these like flashy in a way where it's like, we're going to go get them, or we're going to fight, or we're going to do all this stuff. And like, yeah, like in the beginning, that kind of pumps you up, but then it's kind of nothing really happens. So you kind of get like defeated by it. Like Joe Shane today was very straightforward with like, it's exciting to be with this franchise. And I love when people call us a historic franchise, because we got to get back to that. But he was very open and honest with like, there's things we need to fix it. Like, and I like that, it's open and honest. He addressed the salary cap right away, because it's a big issue. The Giants have the lowest salary cap. It's like $13,000. It's like, no, it's like really bad.
Rams monopoly money.
Yeah. So like for him to address that right off the bat and just saying like him and Kevin Abrams like had to sit down and like do it right away. Like that's good. Like I need to understand that. And he admitted that there's going to be some tough cuts, and there has to be like, and it's going to suck, but we have to make moves. So I liked his demeanor. I really liked, what he delivered. I think I love the Giants' decision to get the GM in. Now it's time for head coach. Let's see. There's obviously a lot of front runners in the head coach department. So we'll see what goes on there. I also liked too, with kind of goes with what I said with like the Maras and the Tisches, like maybe kind of like letting loose a little bit. John Mara like openly admitted to us like screwing Daniel Jones over basically the past.
I didn't expect them to like say that.
And I think that it's just proving that we're now taking a step in the right direction. That
ownership.
It's taking ownership. And we've been bad, and we have not put any type of protection around Daniel Jones, and we didn't put it around Eli Manning as well in his final seasons. And it's very apparent, and you can go out and you could be Dave Gettleman, and you can talk about hog mollies all you want, but when your quarterback is getting sacked left and right and he's making horrible decisions, and your running back Saquon Barkley can't even move, there's problems. So I did like that, and I agree with John Mara. We have put him in a horrible situation, but I think that comment, that open comment to the public, is them, again, loosening the reins, taking ownership, and pushing us in the direction we need to go to. So, and again,
being open and honest, and not just feeding us BS.
Yeah, and I think we've been fed BS for a little while now. So I would just like someone to come in and do their job. If they suck at it, let's move forward. If they're good at it, let's go. We've been waiting for something like this. That was another comment too that Joe Shane said. Giants fans have been waiting for a very long time for what their organization is. And we are a very, very historic franchise. We are a good franchise. And I want to go back to being happy. I do want to go back I am still proud. Of course, I'm proud every day to be a Giants fan, but like, I just want to go back to like the purest of the pure, and really being strong and powerful and going out and bragging about, being, this franchise. So I did like all of that.
Don't expect like a ton of wins next season. What I like, let's
progress.
Step one for me is just get back to at least playing competitive football and not like getting shit stomped every week.
Yeah,
like,
I just want progress.
I'm not saying I expect you to win, but be in the football game.
Absolutely. And, you know, and he didn't have the blanket like statement, like, let's go win a Super Bowl. I hate when people say that. Like, come on, it's not realistic.
Keep it real.
Like, give me a fucking break. But like, so I just, again, like I'm very optimistic. I'm looking forward to the head coach hire. I predict that it'll be late next week or the week of the Super Bowl. So definitely keep your eyes out. Obviously watch our social pages and things like that. And, you know, catch our reaction on the next episode or whenever, you know, it happens. But yeah, it's good to comment on it and good to kind of feel like positive right now. Yeah. So
absolutely. Well, we will definitely, like you said, keep everybody posted on any hirings that we see. But in the meantime, things you don't want to miss over the next week. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, they are going to be on Sunday at 9 p.m. Like we said, this season has been really good. It's getting really juicy. And Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 12 premiere. We finally made it February 1st, Tuesday at 8 p.m. So excited to have the Jersey girls back. And then, of course, the conference championship games, like we said, they're both going to be on Sunday. Number 2, Kansas City versus number 4, Cincinnati at 3 p.m. And then number 4, Rams versus number 6, 49ers at 6:30. Caitlin, I know you
I love it.
And let's hope for good football, a good start to the New Jersey season, and lots of stuff to look forward to.
Good stuff coming up this weekend and next week.
Yes. So thank you guys so much for joining us. The countdown to 200 starts now. We'll see you next week for episode 191.
Whoop, whoop. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.
Bye.